Guys, and welcome back. So in this tutorial I'm actually going to be drawing 3D on the screen. It's not gonna be pretty, but it's gonna be something. So first off, I'm gonna make two new variables. A static double draw x and draw y. So these will be the ones that we return. So draw x here and draw y here. So I also figured out that for this set stuff to work, I'm gonna have to also take the x, y, and z as arguments. So double x, double y, and double c. Now this is gonna bug because we need to input it here as well. Y, x, y, and z. So another thing I wanted to add was that in this vector class, I figured that if this length was to ever be 0, this would divide by 0, and we don't want that. So I'm gonna make an exception here. So if length is larger than 0, it's gonna run. And if it isn't, I'm just gonna set these to 0. Cool. So now I've already done the calculations, and I'm just gonna paste them in here. That would simply be too difficult to remember. So here we go. You can write all this down. I'm gonna explain it in a bit. I'm just gonna copy this as well, so it'll actually set the stuff there. So now, first off, we make a view, a new vector, a view to point. This is from our viewpoint to our point we're trying to calculate. Now that we made this vector with this long calculations, we figure out at what t-value. This means how far out on the vector it collides with our plane. So now we have the point in our plane. We find the point in our plane here by setting the t-value. And so now that we have our t-value, we are checking if the t-value is larger than 0. This means if the point we are looking at is ahead of us. If it was smaller than 0, it would be behind us. So now, once we have all these points in our plane, we use this smart function that then takes this plane and collide and makes it into the 2D 2D dimension, so we can draw it on our screen. Now, once we all have all this, we actually have our 3D polygon. In 3D we have it down in 2D. So now in our, we could try and run it and see what happens. Should be drawn up here, but it isn't. I'll figure out what's wrong. Draw. I'll just try and you see the numbers in this polygon is very small. They're like 10 and 2 and 4, so it's gonna be drawn up in the corner. I'm just gonna multiply them all by like 200. That way it'll be drawn more in the middle of the screen. I'm gonna change this 200 eventually, but now it's just for now it's gonna be this number. So let's see if there's more I need to add. Gonna set this to 0 for start. Still not drawing. Not quite sure what is missing. Let's see. Turn, draw x, draw y. Might cut this part out. Oh yeah, now I remember. The reason it's not drawing is because these two, the view vector we have made it here. Let's find it. This view vector is going from 10 to 0, 10, 10, 10 to 0, 0, 0, and the other vector we have in here, the direction vector is going from 1, 1, 1. This means these two vectors are parallel, and when they are, these equations, they don't work. It's very rare that you'll actually get the parallel vectors in 3D. But just to avoid that, I'm gonna change one of these numbers so they are not parallel anymore. It should be drawn. Yeah, it's drawn here. So this is our 3D triangle drawn. Right now it's just static, it doesn't move, but in the next tutorials I'm gonna start changing the viewpoint so we can try and rotate around this triangle and see it in 3D. So yeah, see you guys next time.